of the people.
Yeah.
The church prays.
Yeah.
Peter is arrested and the church prays. And many people today think that prayer is just a figment of your imagination, speaking to walls and talking to yourself. But I need to let you know today that prayer works. Prayer works. When we pray, we are praying to Jesus to reach heaven. Through Jesus, we have access to the omnipotent. The fervent prayer of the righteous, it avails much. Peter is in prison. He's in maximum security. But don't you know that God's power works in the toughest challenges and the tightest corners? Don't you know that even when your back is up against the wall and a hard place, God can still move? Because this isn't the first time that Peter has been in prison. It was there in chapter 5 where the Sadducees arrested the apostles, put them in prison, and an angel came and opened the door. And they walked right out of the prison without the guards ever knowing the people prayed. And if you look at the text, an angel shows up. It's right there in verse 7. And behold, an angel of the Lord stood next to him. And a light shone in the cell and struck Peter on the side and woke him up, saying, "Get up quickly." This isn't the first time that Peter is in prison. But this is interesting how God uses Peter. Because first time Peter is arrested with the apostles. But this time Peter is arrested all by himself. Peter has to endure the trials of persecution all by himself. And that just lets me know that in this life there are going to be some things that you got to go through by yourself. And some things that mama can't be there for. And some things that daddy got to let you do by yourself so that you can know for yourself that when you pray, God will move. I had to go away to college to find out how to pray. When rent was due, Erica, and I didn't have no money in my pocket, and I called home to Daddy, and Daddy said, "I ain't got it, son," and I had to figure out a way by myself, and I couldn't find no help, but then God moved. And you know when God moved, when stingy folks start giving you money. I'm telling you the truth. You got some stingy folks in your family, and I had to ask some stingy folks in my family, but they gave freely out of their abundance, and the rent was paid. Now, yours might not have been rent, it might have been cancer. Yours might not have been cancer, it might have been diabetes. Yours might not have been diabetes, it might have been death. But won't God show up? By yourself. The angel shows up. We see this poisonous plan in action. But then we see this providential intercession of the angel. God sent some help.
I hear you, sir. Yes, you will.
But then watch this permanent. Listen to that word, permanent impact on Peter. The angel tells Peter, "Get up, put your clothes on, get ready, put your sandals on. We're leaving the jail." Peter follows directions, but he's following them as if dream. Peter does not realize that what is taking place is real. That's what the text says. And this may seem like it doesn't make sense, but you have to realize that in chapter 10, Peter was just caught up in a trance. Peter was just caught up in a trance, and God let down the blanket, and he showed him with all manner of beasts on there, said, "Rise, Peter, slay, and eat." Peter, a Jew who followed the traditional custom, told God, I can't do that. But Peter realized that God is no respecter of person. This gospel is not just for the Jews, it's also for the Gentiles. Peter was caught up in a trance, and so when he gets to chapter 12, he's in prison, the angel shows up, James is dead, he don't believe it's real. And that leads me to tell you that when you pray, don't doubt God's power. Prayer is the slender nerve that moves the arm of the omnipotent. God will move if you pray. The angel comes. The doors open. Peter has made it out of the first and the second gate. Peter moves down the street. The angel is guiding him. But then Peter comes to an iron gate. He comes to this massive gate at the entrance of Jerusalem. The gate is there. But the angel is gone. The gate is there. But Peter has no help. But all of a sudden, this iron gate started moving. But it wasn't moving because Peter touched it. It wasn't moving because the angel touched it. But the gate opened of its own accord. Saints of God, beloved family, brothers and sisters, you got to know that there are going to be some things that only God can move from. There are going to be some things only God can take care of. And that's called a testimony. I ain't got no help in here. That's called an experience with God. We come to church to have real encounters with God when God moves your iron gate. Here in our text, Peter is worried about the gate. But God moves the gate. And the next time we see Peter, he's knocking on the door of Mary. Saints of God, we see this poisonous injection. We see this providential intercession, but then finally we see this permanent impact. Because Peter says in verse 11, now I know for certain that God has delivered me. God has rescued me from the hand of Herod and from all that the Jewish people were expecting. Expectation of us dying. Expectation of us failing. Expectation of us turning around is what the world are expecting. But God's experiences, your experiences with God always supersedes the expectation of your enemy. Let me say that again. Your experience with God always supersedes, go ahead of, overcomes your experience, your expectation of the enemy. Peter had an iron gate, but it might not be an iron in testing time. Your iron gate experience is what you can stand on when the trials of life show up. And you need to know that God's power is not a thing of the past, but he can work right now. Even in the most discouraging circumstances, God can hear your prayer. And when he hears your prayer, when you overcome the expectation, when you encounter the enemy's plot and plan, then you'll be able to have a true experience. And it's right there where you can sing the song that the old church used to sing. God is able just to carry you through. It makes no difference what the world may do. Put your trust in Jesus in everything you do. God is able to carry you through. I'm closing now, but I just came to let you know, don't forget your iron gate. Don't forget your testimony. Don't forget your witness, because your witness is what you can lean on when you don't have anything else that you can go to. When your hope is gone, when your joy is lost, when there's no peace to be found, you can call on Jesus. And there ought to be somebody here that can testify. Jesus will work it out. I tried and I tried. I prayed and I prayed. And I got too deep involved. But I turned it over He